Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So this is going to be a big video. I'm going to be giving you the correct information about which mutant cell to use on every single Descendant for like every single build, or as many builds as I can think of. So yeah, this is gonna be it's gonna be a big one. So let's just get right on into it. I don't want to waste any time because, like I said, we're gonna be here for a while. So yeah, let's start off with Bunny. So for the builds that I've already done on presets, I'll show you my entire build, and then I'll give you the cell as well. For the ones I haven't done, you're just gonna have to like look at past videos, or if you've got a build, you'll kind of know the general idea. For my Bunny, this is what I run. It's a maxed out damage build that does not compensate for anything. Just nothing but raw damage and cooldown to spam condense. This is what I use, along with a Peacemaker, triple sprint Peacemaker for running, Peacemaker for grappling, then a Malevolent for dealing with any odd mobs. Singular duration up on the reactor, 2 pieces of Mage, and 2 pieces of Plague for damage. For the arcade tuning over here, this is what I would run with Bunny. So this is my main arcade tuning tree with Bunny. And let's quickly go on over everything in each corner that I would recommend to you guys. So just as a reference, if we do go back out and have a look at my mutant cells, I should have one of every single one. Yeah, there you go. I bought one of every single one for this video. So we're all good. We're high value gamers over here, guys. So for Bunny's arcade tuning, in the top corner here, I would specifically recommend vulnerability over cohesion. Now, battlesuit efficiency is good, but that's defense. We don't really need defense on Bunny because Bunny just steamrolls through everything anyways, so don't need to worry about that. Fusion dimension tuning. Now, there is a bit of a common misconception that this is the best for the condensed build because it's got fusion tagged on it. It gives you more duration, which is not bad, but you don't really need duration on condense unless to charge your condense. So even still with this personally, I would just recommend electrocution vulnerability for its raw upfront damage. Electric adaptation, we don't need to resist anything yet, or there's no content in the game so that we are resisting. But yeah, are we in the recording? Yeah, I've been recording for like the last 2 minutes, man. So I would say in the top corner, electrocution vulnerability. In the bottom corner, let's have a look at this one. So for this one, there are way more options with this one. Of course, we're ruling out all the toxic immediately because, you know, for Bunny, we don't need the toxic. For this one over here, the shield and the elemental one. So let's have a look at this. So on hit, most skill power. That works. And it's stackable. So that's something that we would run. With this one over here, singular tech. Bunny uses singular for the range. This can be activated multiple times as well. So singular tech would not be a bad idea. If you didn't want to run a full range module, or if you want to run only one range module, you can run this cell instead of amplification control on Bunny, and replace it with even more damage, so on and so forth. But that's completely optional, and that is another way you can play the cell. Now, tech dimension, useless. Bunny doesn't use either of them. Shield enhanced RK. Now, extra skill power if your shield is above half. This would work with a bionic build. In fact, I do have a bionic build that I'm going to release, or if not have already released. So take a look at that. This cell is used in that one. Then for my actual usage, I am going to go with this cell over here on Bunny. Now, I'll be willing to delete this tree real quick just for the sake of science. So let me go down to the other 2 sides of the trees and let's have a look at these. So for the M slot, you can put defense neutralization on Bunny, which is insane. Truly insane. Non-attribute cohesion, final preparations, again doesn't matter. Fusion tech, the fusion on here isn't bad, but it's just duration. Singular dimension, again useless. Defense neutralization on Bunny. Holy crap, what a choice. And defense neutralization is so strong that it is literally worth running a tree that looks something like this just for defense neutralization on Bunny. You would rather have this as your tree or something like this as your tree because defense neutralization makes it so and so that your Bunny will just delete everything. Even if your damage is decreased by, like, let's say 100,000 damage or something. With this being here, you can just see that defense neutralization rips everything apart. As an example, let's turn it off and let's quickly have a run around some of these mobs. Over here, you can see that I'm hitting about 700k damage, 800k damage, which is still pretty good. 900k now. I could easily push this to over 1 million, but even with this, you can see that this damage is promising. It's good damage. There's no way that you would say this damage is lacking or anything of the sort. But if I was to put defense neutralization on with this as well, the damage would be around about the same, but in terms of actual practicality, these mobs would die way faster, just because, you know, the defense neutralization is going to rip them apart. Now, just as a quick show as well, let's turn off their invincibility, and then we'll go about it this way. If I was to do this with Bunny, you can see here, they've been inflicted by it. Do that, nuke, they're all gone, which hit 82 million damage on that nuke, which is impressive. Now, we would turn defense neutralization off. I'm pretty sure we would still nuke them just as fast, but it would probably be less damage. About the same, 84 million, give or take. But regardless, the bottom line being defense neutralization is basically the most overpowered cell in this game. And if there's any cell that you are going to use, it best be this one. This cell is so powerful that if you're a Descendant that can hit fast, such as Bunny, Ines, Sprainer, Vali, Viesta, I would say that it is worth bending your tree so much so to running this node right over here. Now let's quickly have a look at the top left node, because we also got to mess around with this a little bit too. So we're gonna go backwards here, go up here. And what will we put in the top corner over here? Now for Bunny on this one, attack neutralization is an option, but singular fusion tuning, that would be ideal for Sharon. Frostbite is really irrelevant, so in terms of Bunny, there's no real good options over here. Attack neutralization would be your best option, but I still personally don't think that is worth it. Now, after messing around with the trees a little bit more, so on and so forth, I would say Bunny's best tree is probably gonna be either this over here with just like dog damage on it, 1.8k damage on here regardless, 1.8k skill power, which is still very high, but even if you take that off and just do this anyways, you end up with the exact same or slightly less skill power, so it's a little bit of a give or take. So yeah, this is what I would recommend with Bunny. If you drop these three as well, you can get all the way up to here, which is quite strong, get a little bit of extra range, or if you were to back up a little bit more, you could get a touch of extra damage. And yeah, that is what I would recommend on Bunny for her arcade tree or her mutant cells, because understanding these cells can make a massive difference to how you play your builds. So that's Bunny done. Let's move on to the next Descendant. For the next Descendant, let's have a look at Viesta. Viesta is a great example of, like I said, Viesta is a great example of, where is it? Defense neutralization absolutely slapping to an unfathomable extent. Let's just put this into reference for you guys. I'll do this as a straight show because Viesta is a very good example of it. This is the build I use on Viesta, for damage at least, and then 2 pieces of Plague for singular damage, and 2 pieces of Hunter, as well as cooldown crit damage on Viesta, Paul Secret Garden. That's basically it. So for reference, we are using the defense neutralization here. So with defense neutralization on Viesta, you can see there we hit about 11 mil damage, which is still pretty solid. Then if we were to take the defense neutralization off, give it a second, there you go. This second ability is going to keep hitting them, isn't it? I accidentally activated my second ability. With Viesta, her second ability can actually activate the defense neutralization as well. So that's why it's ideal to like not run around with defense neutralization on. But even with this, about 11 mil. Still the same story, but you could see with the other one, the defense neutralization did in fact kill the mobs, just because how defense neutralization worked. Just for sure, there you go. That's still pretty strong. Just quickly kill these off right here. There you go, that works really well. Then let's spawn in a new set of mobs, turn their invincibility off, and let's put defense neutralization back on, just to show you the difference. Amazing work, thank you man, I appreciate that Aaron. But let's quickly have a look at the defense neutralization with this on. So with it on, you can see that even the damage is still about the same, but this is so much faster to delete mobs. Bear in mind, these are like very resistant to chill, I believe, as well. So on here, it is a bit of a back and forth. But even with that, it's so much stronger using defense neutralization. As a cell, it is so strong. And yeah, it does require you to bend your trees, I'll be honest with you. But I personally do think it is very, very worth it. So let's take this tree as a model tree. And let's use this and have a look at each individual node for Viesta. So, in the top corner, I've put Frostbite vulnerability already, so let's quickly have a look here. With this, you've got the cohesion or the vulnerability. Now, vulnerability is just raw upfront damage, so vulnerability majority of the time is going to be better than cohesion. Cohesion stackable damage is pretty good, but vulnerability is just raw better. Viesta also has attack neutralization in this top corner, and it is good, but I personally just think that damage on here is the best call versus all of the rest of the options. Singular is range, which Viesta does, I would say she doesn't really struggle with, but some people would say she struggles with. So yeah, it's a bit back and forth, but I personally would use Frostbite vulnerability in this top corner. What do you think about Lost Hope to Freyna? I mean, directly boss kill and purge 30. Freyna can definitely kill the boss. Okay, for the bottom corner, for this A module, fire is already going to be disregarded because fire. And then Arcade Overshield is going to allow Viesta to hit harder. And then Arcade Reload would allow it to hit more crits. Now, Arcade Overshield is actually a good option. So if we were to, if we were to use Viesta over here, with the Arcade Overshield, let's quickly have a look at the difference that it makes in terms of our crits. So even if we spawn it, let's spawn in Leader of Darkness this time. And we're going to actually make them invincible because they might die. So let's quickly do this. Over here, 3, 2, 1. About 18 mil, which is pretty good. 19 if we're including prolonging effects. But that was with Overshield on. Let's turn Overshield off. And let's have a look at it this time. Oh god. 8 mil. You can see the damage literally double because it's 50% crit rate. So Arcade Overshield is really, really, really good, especially for Viesta. That's a cell I would definitely recommend using with her. If you want to go crazy, I'd say drop one down here and then drop one up there. Defense neutralization plus extra hard crit is going to be like insane. So yeah. Let's go with that one for now then. In terms of the other two options on Viesta, let's quickly go over them. So for the R option, the only one I could see being worthwhile right now is going to be battlesuit efficiency, and even that at most is just defense. Alyssa's yapping right now, bro. Don't make me turn chat off. If I turn chat off, you're all gonna complain. Okay, but yeah, over here, defense doesn't really do much for Viesta. She'll still hit hard. Any elemental one is just disregarded anyways, so there's really zero reason to be touching the bottom left with Viesta. For the top left, I believe defense neutralization is up here. I just don't know where it's hiding because oh wait, it's probably over here. hiding somewhere just because I've used it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on the other tree over here anyways. Yeah, there you go. Defense neutralization. That is the correct option for any M. So yeah, I would say this is the this is the best one. So that's what I would go with on Viesta. For at least with Viesta, for her tree, I would go either up here or I would rotate this and then put it down here for that crit damage, because this is cool and the damage here is actually really great, especially with all of these bonus damage nodes. But if you want to hit crits, you want to go with that one. Personally, I don't think it's worth it, so this is the tree that I would recommend using with Viesta. Next up, Vali. So Vali is another great descendant, and conveniently enough for Vali, she's got defense neutralization in the top right. What that means is, yeah, you're gonna have a field day with this one. For my Vali build specifically, this is gonna do plenty of damage for you in a very, very short period of time. So yeah, I would definitely suggest this one. I think that one is kind of a non-brainer. So let's just ignore the rest of that, and let's quickly have a look at the rest of the options over here. Whenever there's an M option, it's always gonna be defense neutralization, but let's still take it out and let's still have a look at the other options, especially for Vali. Non-attribute cohesion is good for damage, but like I said, that 50% trigger rate is a bit back and forth. So yeah, it's up and down, but I personally just think whenever there's an M, it has to be defense neutralization. Final preparation is decent. It'll give you more, and especially when using the fourth ability, this can be great with some descendants, especially like Viesta, for example, or maybe even Bunny. But I just think that you use enough of your other abilities to not really bother with this. So yeah, I think that with Vali, because there is dimension, skill cost on here, the node, is not bad, but it's just not good compared to this. Like, that's the truth. And that's how it is with a lot of these cells. A lot of them are good, but they're just not as good as this. And this being like the most busted cell in the game just makes it so that you're in a position where you kind of have no choice but to use that cell, especially if you're playing solo. If you are playing public, then always grab the cohesion cells. Just go with the cohesion or the vulnerability cells, just for convenience sake, I guess. Oh, hang on a second, let me just quickly have a look at it again. Because, like I said, with some descendants, it's not really worth it. And with that, I'd just say get non-attribute cohesion on that one. If not, then maybe have a look at some of these stats. But it depends on your descendant's abilities. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it is not. So let's quickly have a look at the A one over here. Now, this crit rate would be quite good on Vali. However, the other node, the one that requires or gives crit damage on here, would also be insanely good on here for Vali. I believe it's the RK Overshield. Hang on a second, let me just quickly grab another two of them. Not that one. RK Overheat Shield. This one would be quite staggering, especially for this build. Oh man, would this be good. Let's grab one more. I want to quickly have a look at the difference. I did 7 ticks before. Let me do like 8 ticks here, and we'll have a look at it. So yeah, the RK of Mutant Shield on here with Vali would be kind of nuts, along with the defense neutralization on Vali. Yeah, that would be insanely strong. But that is a tree that I would definitely recommend on Vali. Putting defense neutralization up here and overheat shield there would be mental. Let's quickly take it out of here and let's put it inside the other cell and just run a quick test. Let's see how it goes. Because I guarantee the damage here is going to be disgusting, especially with these crits too. Because this setup of this is a crit build. So once the crits burst into like permacrits, it's definitely going to hit harder as well. That is very much so hitting harder. Yeah, you do need to alter the tree, but that is hitting twice as hard just because of everything being a crit with this build. That is actually insane. That's so crazy to see. But yeah, I would still suggest getting crit rate and crit damage on this tree as well. That would probably make this even stronger. Range just as a topper. But with this, it would probably be even crazier. Especially just given that the build and the Valby. Yeah, my crits are looking a lot higher already. And we love to see a ton of crits everywhere. So this is something I would definitely recommend using with Valby, especially with my permacrit build. If you are a fan of that or have already got that, this would be something that is very worthwhile. I'd have to test the damage out directly to see what is the best. But off the top of my head, I would definitely say this is a worthwhile investment, to say the least. Because holy... Right, I'm going to take defense neutralization out and put it back onto my other one, onto my main build. Let us quickly do that. But I would definitely not be opposed to using that tree on Valby. That is actually nuts. Okay, let's quickly have a look at the next one. Okay, mutant cell up here, the R slot. What would you want on Valby over here? Immediately, the electricity is discarded. Fusion Dimension are two things Valby actually does use. Having extra duration and extra skill cost on Valby is convenient, but it's just that this cell is not in the best of locations. Defense on Valby is kind of irrelevant, and Valby debuffs electricity regardless. This Fusion Dimension one would actually be quite good on Valby, especially given that she does benefit from duration, and skill cost on Valby is also great. So I would recommend this Fusion Dimension one in the top corner over here. For the mutant cell over here, this is going to be attack neutralization, most likely. The chill stuff immediately gets discarded because of element. Singular fusion tuning, Valby again does use fusion, but at the same time, it's not really worth it. Attack neutralization is the only one that I would say is worth it, but this is the Valby tree I'm currently using, and the damage on here is insane. I wouldn't mind going down there. If I was to drop 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'd be so willing to drop like that and then go around this way, because honestly I don't even need the cooldown on here. Actually no, Valby does need the cooldown. She very much needs the cooldown. Even going from something like that to something like this would actually work really well, especially with the overshield. Using this as a tree for Valby would be kind of insane as well. You get the extra damage, you get the extra defense neutralization, and you also get extra crits. So yeah, your crit rate isn't sacrificed, your cooldown sacrificed a little bit, but that is still pretty insane. That's pretty insane. And just for one more show, because I like doing this myself. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Honestly, I love to see it. I do love to see it. The numbers are lower, but the crits are also harder. It is insane. It's really nice. It is really, really nice. I'll mess with it further though. I'm just gonna take this out for now because I'm gonna hopefully use it on a different build or just have a look at it on a different setup as well. I'm trying to go back and forth and have like a look at as many builds as I can right now. So please spare me if you disagree with what I'm doing or think that there's something else that is better on another character that I've done wrong. So forgive me, please. Okay, Valby done. Let's have a look at the next option, that being Glaive. Now, Glaive is actually quite simple. Glaive is simple. Now, arcade tuning, I'm sure you've seen, doesn't really do anything in terms of firearm attack. It doesn't do anything. If I was to drop all this HP stuff over here and use this as an opportunity to go up here with Glaive, you'll see that arcade reload allows for skill crit rate, but Glaive skills kind of just ain't like that. And arcade overshield is skill crit damage, and that's elemental damage. The only element Glaive hits is in fact non-attribute. So for Glaive, surprisingly, there is only 1 or 2 options, which is very, very limited. and that is going to be using the defense neutralization up here as option number 1, or option number 2 is going to be again using the same tree, but instead throwing non-attribute cohesion up in the corner as well. Why are these basically our only options? Because these two support Glaive's explosive life build. Now, the mutant cells are not here to help you buff your firearms, so any descendant that is used for firearms specifically, or like gun damage and stuff like that, their segment in this video is going to be short. It's really not going to be very much, just because it doesn't really do much for it. Now, Glaive thankfully does have an actual mobbing build that requires abilities, and that is the explosive life build. Now, like I said before, cohesion is going to be your best bet. Cohesion for general lobbies in public, and if you know Glaive is going to be hitting like that, defense neutralization. Now, the only reason I wouldn't use neutralization with explosive life is just because you still have to get the orbs to drop. The way you get the orbs to drop is by killing mobs or having someone else kill mobs. So for a lot of the hits, you're gonna basically just be taking care of mobs that have already been damaged first, so you wouldn't really be getting the full benefited effect. If you do see like 1 or 2 orbs drop, then you just keep spamming it. That way you will be hitting spawns quite fairly often. So I would say that it is worth it. How worth it, I can't say exactly, but if you're still skeptical about it, then just change over to non-attribute cohesion, because that one will 100% activate, or 50% activate, sorry about that. It will activate more than Glaive's defense neutralization. So I still think that both of these are a very, very good option. And that's basically it for Glaive. If we go and quickly have a look at all of her other... if we quickly have a look at all of the other ones, you'll see that even for the R options, or even for any option, there's just nothing for gunning. There's just nothing for gunning. These are electric abilities, defense, and stuff like that. So for gunning Descendants, it's really just, it's just not worth it. And that's the truth. Like, every single one of these are for skills or for enemies inflicted with elemental damage and stuff like that. Nothing even remotely close or related to firearms. So Glaive is Glaive's gonna be living with that in this. So there's not really too much for Glaive, which is kind of sad, but I still love Glaive and I still think she's great, so definitely use Glaive. But yeah, next up, Freyna. Now for Freyna, I did release a video a few days ago showcasing my contagion build, or my updated contagion build. This is what I used in that build. Full plague set, range and tech on the reactor, even though I'd want duration and tech. But yeah, this is the tree I would use for Freyna. Now, again, here, it's the same as the Viesta one. You kind of just go up to your poison vulnerability, and then you just go across to your defense neutralization. Like I said, for Freyna, these nodes are busted. And for any Descendant that you've hit fast and hard with, defense neutralization is your key. Over with this one, you've got plenty of options with this one. But even with this, if you're choosing between cohesion and vulnerability, you want more upfront damage, so you're gonna want the vulnerability. With the enhanced shield RK, this is just, it's a bit of a 50-50, and I don't really think it's worth it, so I would just not use this personally. Tech dimension, 2 things Freyna does use. Skill power on here is 4%, and then you get extra skill cost on here, which is reduced, which is nice for Freyna, don't get me wrong. The skill cost is a good touch for Freyna, but it's just not as efficient as the damage. And RK efficiency enhancement, again, not bad, but over here in the top corner, it's got to be poison vulnerability, just for that raw upfront damage on Freyna. Next up, let's go to the bottom node down over here. The A node. Again, with Freyna, some people have had the idea that you could use the RK reload to basically make a crit Freyna. And if it was at 86 or 85% of flat crit rate, this would work. But sadly, it doesn't. I don't know whether it's bugged or whether it's just not that good. And even that cooldown of 30 seconds, in my opinion, just doesn't make it worth it. 30 seconds is a very, very long cooldown. So, it's not worth it in my opinion. But this over here might be with a crit Luna. If you get where I'm going with this, this would allow your crits to hit a lot harder with Luna. So if you are making a specific Luna hit, make Freyna crit everything, this would give you excellent damage. But in terms of everything else, it's just not worth it. Fire element over here, not worth it. And the crit rate for Freyna, sadly, is just not worth it. Freyna's not really a descendant that you should be building for crit. You can do a crit build on her, and you can do a crit build on anyone because Luna exists, and Luna can make everyone crit everything. But off the top of my head, I would just say it's not worth it, personally. For the R module slot, or R slot, again, elemental, completely disregarded. Fusion dimension is not bad, but Freyna does not use fusion, so it's not worth it. And battle suit efficiency, again, just not worth it. Mutant cell up here, defense neutralization. Whenever there's an M, defense neutralization. This on Freyna wouldn't be bad because of the skill power, but the range really does nothing. So this is interesting and kind of useless as well. So, you know, it's not going to be the greatest, and you shouldn't really be building up towards this one anyways. So for Freyna, I would recommend this tree over here, or alternatively, this tree over here. Okay, on to the next character we go. I've already covered Glaive. Luna. So Luna, this is a good one. So with Luna, with her mutant cell, she doesn't really need it. She doesn't. For her buffing builds, this is what you would probably want to run on your trees anyways, because you just want to get as much MP off the skill tree as you can. So this is Luna's skill buffing tree. And then for Noise Surge, you'd want to run this. Now Noise Surge, I've got non-attribute cohesion. But I would still argue and debate that defense neutralization belongs in here as well. So let's pull another defense neutralization out, because it's just so busted that, you know what, I'm going to grab 4 of them. It's just that good, man. Defense neutralization over here, 100% worth it. It's worth it. If you're noise surging, you're going to be most likely hitting first anyways. Once they buff Luna's speed though, it's over for a lot of characters. As for my build, this is what I run for the skill power buff. These 2 modules are open for elemental resistances. So like if you're running Purge 30, you can throw 2 fire resists in there. This is what I run for my firearm buff. So same thing, this is open for a elemental resistance. Just as a little piece of information, for Luna, if you do want to figure out how to use Luna, just scroll to the bottom and look at the last stat. So you can see here, skill power increase, skill hit damage increase, and crit rate increase. Over here, MP amount recovery, resource cost decrease, and duration. And over here, cooldown reduction rate and cooldown decrease and duration. That's how you would essentially do with Luna. So Luna, in my opinion, doesn't really need the cells too much. If we look at the other options, R is going to do nothing, C won't do anything either, and X is actually an interesting one. Let's quickly have a look at them though, just because I can't just show every single node for some descendants and not show them for others. With Luna over here, this defense might be worth it for her tanking build, but it's just not really worthwhile in my opinion. Like I said here, any element gets disregarded, so it's just really not worth it. Running the other way though, let's quickly have a look here. Up here on the X, this is actually decent. Some of these are decent. Singular Tech, this is what Luna would be using with her Noise Surge build. And because this can be affected or activated several times, you would be able to stack this, and you would be able to drop a range module for this if you were to use this node. That's an interesting take. And even on here, you are able to poison vulnerability, all this sort of stuff. Not really worth it. The C in the bottom corner, however, will not really give you anything either. So again, just really not worth it. How do you unlock arcade tuning? You need to do the quest for Sigma Sector. Do the arcade tuning for Glaive, bruh. I've already done that, boss. We've already gone over the Glaive one. Don't worry, you can catch the YouTube video, bro. Okay, Viesta, I think you're done. Alright, Serena. So let's quickly have a look at Serena. I can't look at Serena for some reason. What do you mean due to okay, what the hell, bro? Am I really being... Okay. Let me just delete a bunch of these. Because the game is being stupid right now. That should be enough space. Right, Lord Serena, please, and thank you. Okay, perfect. Alright, let's use this one. So for Serena, with her mutant cells, are they worth it? I would say yeah. I would actually say yeah. Are these trees the same? Slightly different. But let's just get rid of this Marvin tree with Serena. Because yeah. Bro's got a swipe for storage? Perhaps. Let's quickly have a look at this over here. So with the A module slot, with Serena, you're definitely going to want to put the crit damage. Or the crit rate. Crit rate, I would doubt. Crit damage, absolutely. Or with straight burn vulnerability, that would be excellent with Serena. So yeah. Hey Chrissy, hope you're doing good. So yeah, with this, I would just say burn vulnerability is probably a good call with Serena. But yeah. That's basically it. Over here, with Serena, I don't even know what Serena's abilities are, to be completely honest with you. I would ignore the toxic, and then let's quickly have a look at Serena's abilities, just so I say the right thing. Singular, singular dimension. Fire, singular dimension. Okay. So even with this over here, the singular stuff for extra range, Serena wouldn't really benefit from anyways. It would make a small difference, but not like crazy. An updated one for the spoil box for Glaive? Yeah, I've literally done that, bro. I've been doing that on this stream right now. Quickly get the rest of these. So up here, for some reason, you can defense neutralize with Serena. That's actually insane. And I'm pretty sure that if you were to use Serena's 4 and then shoot a weapon, that does count as a ability, a skill attack. So Serena can some reason defense neutralize as if she needed that. Singular fusion, again, it just really wouldn't do anything. Chill really doesn't do anything. Attack neutralization could be worthwhile on Serena though, because you'd take less damage. That would be okay, but defense neutralization and the crit one over here, having a tree go across there, up here, and then across to there, like the same tree I ran on Freyna or Viesta, would be insane on Serena. Off the top of my head, at least. Yeah, Serena is scary. That one is really strong. Sharon. Okay, let's quickly have a look at Sharon. Now with Sharon, I would definitely do fusion dimension tuning up here. It's just like quality of life on Sharon in my opinion, but the quality of life really do be quality of lifing, and it really does be hitting quite nice. With Sharon, I tried that out, and honestly, it allowed me to change my build in a slight way, and honestly, I was a big fan of it. So I do think with Sharon, that one was really good. Okay, over here, I would say, again, crit on Sharon is going to be insanely strong. Would it be so strong to justify rotating your tree down here as well as up there? Possibly. That is a lot of crit damage, but I think that if you were to do it, you'd have to run something slightly different. And let me see what I can cook up real quick. Attack neutralization wouldn't be that bad on Sharon. She doesn't use chill. Singular on here is okay because the range, but I don't think range makes that big of a difference on Sharon. So that's just my own personal take. Defense neutralization is bad for a purge build? Is it? That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, with Sharon, honestly, even if you were to go with something like this, you'd still be doing quite insane levels of damage. Or if you were to drop that, you would be able to go up for this, which is going to allow you to run the electrocution vulnerability. So again, damage. About the same, if not slightly more. It's a little bit back and forth. But, again, I would say it's worth it. For Sharon, the amount of damage you can pull out of this slot is going to be insane. Because it's such a high amount of crit as well. That's the thing. Like, it's over 50%. It's almost 50% crit damage, which is so high. It's so strong as well. So it's definitely worth having a look at that one for Sharon. Then, last but not least, let's quickly have a look at the X one in the bottom corner. Again, over here, the poison is completely irrelevant. Shield, enhanced arcade, slight touches of damage, but I just don't think any of them are justified to be used on the Descendants. This Descendant specifically. So Sharon is going to be a little bit of a pass. Okay, Ines. Let's quickly have a look at this one. Ines is an interesting one. If you were to use her regular tree, Electrocution Vulnerability, or Electric Cohesion in the top corner, gonna be great. However, I was using this tree and it kind of destroys even more. They gave defense neutralization to Ines as well. It is so strong. Like, even though my damage numbers are lower, it just melts everything. It's so strong. And then even in here, you could have like extra crit damage on Ines. And for Ines, who has 100% crit rate, there you go. Using this tree on Ines with cooldown, you won't even need the enhanced skill power. And putting Electrocution Vulnerability over there and then running crit damage over here is so strong. Like, this is the tree I was experimenting with earlier, and man, it destroys. I do recommend this tree. It is really, really strong. And if you've got any doubts about it as well, you can drop and slightly alter it, but this is what I would recommend with Ines. It is insanely good. The X stuff is poison, so we're not going to need any of that, and just slight touches of damage. So again, for Ines, it's really not worth it. This is the tree I use mostly or casually. This is the tree I have the most fun with, and this is the tree that I think is too good to be fucking true. It is insane how much you can get out of this tree with Electrocution Vulnerability over here, and the crit damage over shield, over heating shield is there. It's insanely good, especially on Ines. Right, now that I've gone through all the Descendants I've done presets for, let's start looking up at my other options. Bro, we've done, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've done 9 Descendants and we've been going for 40 minutes. This video is going to be long, holy. I think for some other Descendants it's going to be fairly easy, so we'll see. Right, Jabber. This one is something. For some reason, you are actually able to run defense neutralization on him. His turrets, from what I've heard, it doesn't apply to his turrets. I've not 100% tested that one myself. The non-attribute cohesion again probably doesn't work for his turrets. Really not worth in my opinion. Jabber is a big no-no, and you definitely don't want to be going anywhere near this one. Even the mutant cells weren't enough to buff what he had. Attack neutralization would help him survive. Singular fusion tuning, frostbite, elemental stuff we're going to completely avoid because Jabber is a non-attribute Pokemon. But even with that, he's singular and dimension. So again, this would provide a little bit of extra range, but I don't even think that it's worth it personally, especially for Jabber. It's very rough because bro has like nothing going for him. Like at this point, even God's asking for a rework on Jabber, man, because it's getting a bit too crazy out here for him. In the top corner, you can't even use crit damage because Jabber, his turrets can't even crit anymore. Fire is not worth it, and then having a little bit of extra damage out of here it's just not worth it. Poison is not worth it. Just not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Just don't do this to yourself. Don't do this to yourself. Now, Lepic. This is the Bossman build. So, if you're aware of this build with Lepic, let me max out that fire Sanctium. Gonna annoy me. If you're a fan of like this build with Lepic, I don't know why I've not chosen my preset. There you go. So the OG Lepic bossing build, man, does this hit even harder with the crit damage over here. It is so good. I saw an upwards crit of 10 million on a single bullet with Lepic's fort ability with this. Beautiful. Truly beautiful. Truly. It is so good. And I love using Lepic as well. So I would say that it's definitely worthwhile. Now over here in the bottom right, again, there's just not really much to it. Lepic is tech and electricity isn't going to do very much for him. What's his other style of ability? It's tech and singular. So again, singular would give him a little bit of range, I believe, but it's not even over here. So this bottom left node is just completely a waste of time with Lepic. Have a look at this one over here, and then let's make our way up to the top node. Now with this X1 over here, you would be able to use singular tech. Range on Lepic is actually very useful when it comes to his purge setup. And I do believe his traction grenade is actually a singular. So this would work very well for Lepic's purging setup. If you're already at max range, then don't worry about it. But if you're not, then this wouldn't be bad. Arcade efficiency enhancement, this again isn't bad. This is okay, but it's just not going to work out very well. Tech for the skill power is okay as well, but I mean, we've got nuke over here, so like not really worth it with Lepic, I would say personally. It's interesting, but there's a lot that could be done, and I personally think that going about it this way is like probably the best, because yeah, you're not really going to be using very many of them, and that's the thing with a lot of these Descendants, you're just not going to be using a lot of the nodes, which is the truth. Okay, ultimate Blair. Let's have a look at Blair. Now with Blair, up in the top corner, this function cannot be used in your current state. You can already imagine the RK overheat shield is going to be very good with Blair. Using his killer recipe build, or his crit build, you are going to be able to get plenty of damage out of that. This killer recipe is a good example of one of the builds. Maybe not the best example. I'm sure people are probably better with Blair than I am myself. So I'll leave that up to the other people. But this one in the top corner, any one of these would work. Vulnerability would be good, but I personally think that if you care about your damage numbers, you're going to want the overheat shield. That one would hit harder with Blair, depending on the setup. But I'm pretty sure with Blair, you can make it so that you can hit plenty of crits anyways. And that would be worth it, in my opinion. Over here for the C, again, Blair is dimension, so none of these matter. Tack neutralization might be okay, but it's just not worth it, I would say, for Blair. So there's a lot of direction to be had with all of these trees and stuff, and a lot of them are like very specific as well. Like I said, with some trees, they've put like defense neutralization in the top corner, even though like they know we're going to be building in this corner instead. But I don't mind it personally, because it's the only way they can add some form of balance. Imagine if you could put defense neutralization in the top corner. Every Descendant would have it. It'd be mental. So, you know, it'd be cool, but it would also be a little bit too much. Now, in this corner, again, defense neutralization is the correct choice. Singular and dimension, this wouldn't be bad. Skill cost, yeah, skill cost with Blair. Range isn't bad either. It wouldn't be bad, but like I said, even for Blair, if you're going to do a fourth ability nuking build, this one would be great with final preparations, especially for the range and the power. But it's just, why would you put it up against defense neutralization? I almost feel bad for some of these cells having to go up against the best cell. And then over here as well, just slight extra points of damage. Poison does nothing. Blair Gaming, ladies and gents. Blair Gaming. Haley. Haley. a Descendant that I truly love. And it's sad because he just doesn't have any uses. I do say this a lot. I love Haley, don't get me wrong, but some of her ability choices over here are very, very questionable. Frostbite vulnerability, yeah, but at the same time, why would you use this over... Why would you use this over an ATAMS? I got nervous when he said my name for some reason. I'm not going to kill you, I promise. But even over here, electrocution is irrelevant. And I did say this before. This tree does not accommodate to firearm-based descendants. Or the cells do not accommodate to firearm-based descendants. So sadly, I would say for Haley, this is just not worth it. Salam alaikum, welcome Salam Diego. This over here, crit damage is cool, and this would have helped Haley, but it's in the bottom, it's in the bottom left, and why would you use it over an ATAMS? Defense neutralization, skill attack, don't get me wrong, for a gunning Haley, this would actually be a very good shout. For a gunning Haley, like running around and gunning, you'd be building your tree up here anyways, and having more ammo, enhanced ammo modifier over here would be great with the firearm. And I believe having your third ability on and then shooting with a cavalry gun or just mobbing generally would still apply to the defense neutralization. So it would work, just it's not worth it. And Haley's fourth ability would definitely benefit from this as well. The range is irrelevant, but the strength is good. It's fine, but it's sad because a lot of these descendants, they just get shadowed by other things. And Haley is a very, very good example of exactly that. Who's next? Ajax. Ajax, my goat. In the top corner, defense neutralization is gotta be, in my opinion. Defense neutralization on the Jax is pretty good. That's for my tank. This, I'll mess with this one. But don't get me wrong though, I still love Haley to death. And I do wish that they rework her, but not in a way that ruins her character. Which is something that they're probably not going to be very good at, but we'll trust in them for now. For this R on Ajax, Elemental is disregarded. Fusion Dimension, Ajax does use Dimension, but it's tech as well, so not worth it. Skill cost is nice. Stacks, defense per stack is nice. I guess if you're trying to make a giga tank Ajax, this would work out. But yeah, not really the best call on Ajax right there. As for going up here, oops. Okay, let's have a look at this. For the X one, this wouldn't be that bad with Ajax. Tech Dimension, this would be good. A little bit of extra damage and a little bit of reduced skill cost on Ajax would actually go a long way. But at the same time, I don't think it's worth it. Imagine using this enhanced shield RK on that Ajax build that has like 100k shields. You permanently got plus 10% skill power. That would be so funny. Toxic, just not worth it on Ajax. Again, Elemental over here is just not worth it. And crit damage or crit rate, not worth it. Haley's so useless, understood, get good kid. Not the Zenith though. Zenith's overshadowed by an ATAMS. I hate saying this, but unfortunately, please fix Haley. Please. Okay, who's after Ajax? Kyle. The funny Frenchman. For Kyle, I believe there is a build to one-shot the Ice Maiden with Kyle now. In a squad. Which is insane. But for Kyle, I'm not going to say I'm the most... I'm not the most understanding. I'm not the best with Kyle. defense neutralization over here would absolutely slap. But I believe Kyle is heavily based around shields. And his fourth ability over here is going to be insane. So having this on here would definitely help. I still think it's got to be defense neutralization though. Just because if you do hit the full enemy full HP, you reduce their defense, which in turn just kills them faster. Like I said, it's the strongest one in this game, and it's insane how it gets overshadowed. Kyle is non-attribute, so Elemental is disregarded. As for his actual abilities, let's quickly have a look. He is Tech and Dimension. So, same as Ajax, literally. So, R is not going to do very much for him. The Dimension skill cost is not bad, but he's going to get much more out of the X cell down here. Quickly have a look. Get that up here. Okay, right, there you go. So this one, Tech and Dimension, he's going to get more out of that. More power and reduced skill cost. So not bad, but a little bit of back and forth. Singular Tech tuning. Not bad, I guess, but still back and forth. This on Kylo would be pretty good. Extra skill power for most of his shield. Poison is irrelevant, so yeah, that's basically it. Chill Cohesion, back and forth again, don't really need the elements. And attack neutralization. I guess this would be alright with Kyle, but why would you build into the top left on a skilled Descendant? Like, Kyle can use skills, so I don't know why you would build through the top left instead of the top right. Especially given defense neutralization is in the top right. So, yeah, it's just not worth it in my opinion. Enzo. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love Enzo, right? But this is just another example of a Descendant that's good, but just gets shadowed. Defense neutralization is the M slot in this corner over here, which is not going to do anything to Enzo. Anything in the R slot will just not do anything to Enzo. Anything in the X slot, and he's got 2 X slots. I just realized he's got 2 X slots. Holy, bro, it's just not going to do very much to Enzo. That's the truth. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Enzo as well, right? But he's a firearm-based Descendant, and sadly for this game just doesn't support firearm Descendants very much, especially in this cell. Enzo, in a best-case scenario, would probably be able to use this for more skill power, but skill power isn't going to make Enzo's second ability hit any harder. As sorry as I am to say, the cells are just, they're not very worthwhile on Haley. Enzo, Glaive does have the explosive life build, but not very worth it on this Descendant. Jabber is not very worth it on. And we'll see about the last 3 Descendants, because we're almost done now. Video is coming up to an hour long. Holy, my FBI agent watching this is not going to be very happy. Okay, last 3 Descendants that are left. We've got Eugen. Now, Eugen with these cells is an interesting one, because over here, we've got the power, stuff like that. I do believe Eugen is singular. Let me just double check that. Fusion singular. So an interesting combination. With this one, there is a fusion singular node. Poison is not really going to do anything. Neither is this. Singular tech. Singular will give him more range, which I believe he already hits cap anyway, so there's not really too much there. This is interesting. Singular and fusion would give duration, which would help his healing. And then range, which again, for Eugen, definitely not bad, but definitely not the greatest either. I would say that it does work fairly well, but I wouldn't say it's the worst or the best for Eugen in any circumstance. We're going to ignore the elementals, because that really doesn't matter. Anyways, let's quickly switch up the tree. Head over to the other side. Okay, for the R slot over here, with Eugen, again, I think that it's just back and forth. None of these are really going to help Eugen very much, so I wouldn't invest, or ideally recommend investing in this side over here. Now, going up to this side, however, oh boy. Don't we just love it when defense neutralization is in the top right? Fusion would be good here. Singular wouldn't be that bad either. Final preparation for his fourth ability would definitely be good, but it just has to be defense neutralization. With my Eugen tree over here, I would absolutely change this over here, and I would put extra skill cost over here, and then I would also slap defense neutralization over here. And this is for my Eugen's allergy build for sure. This would be great, even harder damage on allergy, and nukes just as hard. As for the allergy build, it's this one. This is what I use at least. There is this one, which is the easier one to use that you can spam a bit more, but this one hits way harder. So this is the one I would recommend. I don't have the comps or anything else set up because my presets got deleted. GG's, bro. GG's. Okay, who's next? Keelan. When is the giveaway for either she? You funny guy, bro. You funny guy. With Keelan, honestly, Keelan is another interesting one. For Keelan, I don't think he's got anything amazing, but I don't think he's got anything horrible either. So over here we've got the electric one. Over here doesn't really matter. We've got the defense, which isn't really going to help Keelan out too much anyways, because he likes to be very fast and run around real quick. But over here in the top corner, we've got the X, which is the poison one. Now, with Keelan, I would definitely recommend poison vulnerability, as well as that. Evil Jelly, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. With Keelan, I think it would just have to be poison vulnerability, because how fast he dashes with the poison and stuff like that, and the fact that this resets every time you dash it, I think this would be the best one, personally. I could be wrong. Like I said, I've not updated every single build, so I am still in the process of doing that. So that would be an example of that one. Okay, let's quickly keep going. See over here, attack neutralization wouldn't be that bad for Keelan. I do believe he's a singular and a fusion. Yeah, he's singular fusion. So with that, again, in the over here, defense neutralization would be insanely strong on Keelan. This is just the best node. Like, if you were to run a Keelan that's got a tree going from down into this corner to up to that corner, I'd still say it's worth it. Or potentially just go up towards there for damage and stuff, and it'd still be worth it. Because that defense neutralization makes such a big difference for every single Descendant that it's the one cell I think it's worth breaking your tree over. Last but not least, Esimo. So for Esimo, now I do actually have a build on him, and I do actually have the brain power and the common knowledge to speak on him. Esimo, there's a no-brainer, and that no-brainer is in this top corner over here. We go with this. Given that you can do this, you can use the overheat shield. This is like what I would definitely suggest. The burn vulnerability would be cool, but with Esimo you can hit you've got to have fairly high chance of critting, and you can definitely build for crits as well. When you do hit them crits, oh man, are you gonna absolutely shred. In the bottom corner, I would recommend ignoring the element. Let's double check what Esimo is running. Oops, that's the dog. I believe it's fusion and tech. That's not bad. Okay, let's have a look at that. Fusion tech, we don't have that one over here. In this bottom corner, I would just say I'd just say attack neutralization, to be fair. That's probably the best one for this one. Can I see your arcane mutant Alpha Luna, please? Just give me like a few more minutes and I'll show you. No problem. Just quickly finishing up this last Descendant now. X1 over here. Singular fusion is not over here either. So yeah. With this one, of course, we ignore the toxic. Tech on here isn't bad, but again, just you're not really going to be building to down here. So, yeah, I would personally ignore that. M up here, defense neutralization. It is defense neutralization every single time. This would actually be insanely good for Esimo as well. Extra range on his fourth. But, just defense neutralization, man. Correct me if I'm wrong, there's only 3 true stat. SGPMBB, right? If you mean statistics, then Python as well. But yeah, defense neutralization over here. And that basically summarizes it. That's essentially what cells you should or would look into using for like every single Descendant. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you got any comments, leave them in the comment section below. This video has been long, but I hope I was able to give you some insight and definitely help you with the Descendants that you like to use, so on and so forth. If you've got any questions about cells or anything, please do let me know in the comment section below. I've uploaded a lot of builds already showcasing a lot of the cells, so just have a look at that. I think I'm going to probably have to go and change some of them because I've realized defense neutralization is available on a lot more of them. And after learning and experimenting with cells, I've seen the difference it makes, and I'm definitely going to be adding it onto more of my Descendants. But yeah, that's been this video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Please smash that like button, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.